close to 200 tickets here tonight, and based on his pro record so far and his amateur background, Kevin, it's easy to see why people are getting excited about him.
Yeah, Higgins off to a good start. It's his 6th pro outing. He's won all 5 so far, and 3 of them by KO. As you said, he's got a good following already, which is so important for a boxer that wants to get on. Gets caught with a right hand there.
Good right hand by Sneedze there from Latvia. He's got a mixed record, but he's won 8, lost 17 and drawn 2 so far.
And 6 of his wins have come by KO, so it does think that he can bang a little bit when he wants to.
Good right hand there from Higgins. Working the body well as well.
Sneedze is coming off of 4 losses at the moment, so he does look like he's on a bit of a bad run at the moment, but a good start from Higgins, trying to establish his jab there. But the Latvian giving back just as good at the moment, catching Higgins with the counter left hand there as well, the counter left hook. He's going for it, the Latvian.
Yeah, Higgins just having to cover up there against the ropes, and both fighters having their successes early on here.
He stopped a few debutants, the Latvian, as well. Sneedze, he has stopped a few, and I say they tend to be debutants he's tended to have stopped. He's fought all over. He's fought in Denmark and Sweden, Latvia and France, obviously, and he's fought in Finland and the UK a few times as well. So he's well travelled, got gloves and will travel, and he's certainly having to go here in the first round. Higgins apparently sparred Patrick Nielsen in the run-up to this fight and has sparred the Gal in the past, so he's been in and sparred some good quality fighters at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see how Higgins gets on as he grows more into this fight. He hasn't been as active as he likes, Higgins. He was quoted in April as saying he wanted to have 10 fights by the end of the year, and this is his 6th fight, so, and obviously we're fast approaching the end of the year, it'll be run out before we know it. So
we have 2 more now by the end of the year, but certainly massive support for Higgins, but that can sometimes work against you, can't it?
Sometimes you want to please the crowd too much, and you perhaps try and load up on your shots a little bit more. I think at the moment, the Sniedze coming out a bit more ferociously than they expected. I think it's taken Higgins a little bit longer to settle in this round than I like. He is trying to get his jab established. But as you said, yeah, it can do sometimes. The support can help, but can be a hindrance. But nice combination there, backing the Latvian up against the ropes.
Going to the end of a very competitive first round between Alan Higgins and RAIMONDS SNIEDZE here.
How have you saw this so far, Ben? How have you seen it go?
I may lean towards Sneedze actually. He's got through some decent right hands. There's not a lot in this though. Sneedze has certainly got the height advantage and the reach advantage.
Sneedze having a go in the first round. He's certainly having a go. I think we're seeing improvement from Higgins in the second round. I think his corner will settle him down and get him to ignore the crowd and go from there. So it'll be interesting to see how he grows into this. He hasn't lost yet, so that may play on his mind a little bit. He doesn't want to lose his unbeaten record. A very close first round there.
Kevin, you're quite familiar with Alan Higgins' amateur career. He's got some good wins there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had over 60 amateur fights, including wins over John Ryder and Frank Guglielmi. So in the amateur level, he's had some good wins over some very, very solid pros. Obviously, John Ryder fights Billy Joe Saunders on the 21st this month. Frank Guglielmi is building nicely. What's going on? So at amateur level, he seems to have had some good wins. However, the amateurs and the pros is two different sports almost, and some make the transition and some don't. Some make better pros. So it'd be interesting to see as time goes on how Higgins grows in, and whether he lives up to the amateur wins that he's got.
Round 2 was scheduled 6, and Higgins certainly having all his own way in the opener.
Nice right hand there, trying to force it a little bit more this round, Higgins. They're both about the same height, both 6 foot. I think the Latvian's got half an inch taller, just 6 foot and a half, and Higgins is 6 foot.
Neither fighter wanting to give ground on the inside, just making the action slightly messy at times, but still pretty entertaining.
Nice right hand there from Higgins, lead right hand there, got through the middle.
Higgins definitely trying to get his jab going.
Like to see Higgins maybe double that jab up. and then throw 2s and 3 combinations, rather double jab there, getting straight through, and the 1s, 2s. So I'd like to see Higgins do a little bit more of that, a little bit more 2s and 3 shots. It's the second shot that seems to be catching the Latvian, rather than just the single jabs at the moment.
It's no coincidence that since Higgins has started to establish his jab in this round, we've seen less to Sniedze.
See, single jabs, he returns straight away, the Latvian, but for 2s and 3s it seems to get through. We're just trading a single jab at the moment. Lead right hand there from the Latvian.
It's quite a weighted shot there from Sniedze, isn't it?
He's looking a little bit tired in this round. Looks like it's the shots that have got through and maybe taking their time. I don't know how much notice he's had for this fight. Or
just looking a little bit reckless now.
That's better. Better from Higgins.
And Sniedze's mouth is noticeably gaping open already.
Very dangerous when fighters trade off like that. It gets a bit like the gunfight, the OK Corral, and it's just swinging for the fences. Anything can happen. I don't like to see my fighters do that. It turns into just a bit of a lottery in that case. So it's when you've got support, you can very easily get excited. But you've got to make sure that even when an opponent's back on the rope and taking shots like Latvian is now, Higgins applying pressure. I'd like to see Higgins just stay nice and tight, as one fight can turn the turn of a fight.
Been a very impressive response from Higgins this round.
Much better this round. He settled a little bit more. He looked a little bit nervous in the first round. Maybe the support got to him, but definitely a better round. Definitely his round in my opinion. Here, double jab and right hand from Sniedze there. So missed wildly and short there from Higgins' right hand. Very wild. Nice one. As soon as we said that, he throws the same shot. This time a little bit closer and catches the Latvian straight on the chin.
Sniedze did very well to take that shot and still remain upright.
Backed off straight away, so it must have hurt him, rocked him down to his boots.
It's fortunate there for Sniedze that he was caught moving away from the shot rather than walking onto it. Could have been curtains otherwise. Yeah,
very much so, and this is what we were saying before about swinging it being a bit of a lottery, and there was a prime example. Higgins head down, threw the right hand over the top, and he got caught. As you said, I think because he was stepping away from the shot rather than walking onto it is the reason why he's sitting on the stool at the end of the rounds and not being flat on his back.
Sniedze is definitely blowing hard. Been true to see get through round 3 and onwards. Higgins really was rampant in round 2 there.
And hopefully Higgins has noticed this in the second round. Hopefully he's noticed him dropping off a little bit and tiring. And as I said, I'd like to see how Higgins grows into the fight, and I think he will there. If the second round's anything to go by, that was much improved from the first round. So if he goes on from here and he carries on improving, I can see Higgins maybe getting a stoppage here, especially if he can hurt him, as we know he can do now.
Between young Bethnal and Higgins and Latvian RAIMONDS SNIEDZE. First round was pretty even, but Kevin, in round 2 it was all Higgins.
Higgins is definitely coming. He's grown into the fight a little bit more, and maybe Sniedze's fitness is maybe not there. He's looking for wild shots. He's fallen a little bit short. Sniedze, and Higgins found his range and accuracy at the time. He had success in the second round from doubling his shots up, and that's like to see his. Get caught there.
Caught there by a left hook, a bit wild there by Higgins.
Yeah, it was a little bit head down. Oh, tripped over there. I don't know if he was wobbled there or looks in trouble, Higgins. I wasn't sure whether he tripped on the canvas there or whether he's hurt from one of them shots.
Yeah,
I think it may have just been tripping on the canvas.
Just rocked by a left hook there. There was definitely a reaction from Higgins. They're anxious moments now in round 3.
Looking for that overhand right again. The Latvian was definitely spurred on by seeing him wobble there for whichever wobble it was.
This shows why we love boxing. We were just talking in the second round about Higgins on the verge of a stoppage, and now suddenly 30 seconds later, and it's a different story entirely.
That's why I love boxing. One shot can change it and can change a fight from one person easily winning to being knocked out, and that's what makes it so exciting. But he's having a go, Sneeds, in this round. He's definitely getting through. It's Higgins that's looking a little bit tired in this round.
I was just going to say that. Higgins also looks quite heavy leg now.
Maybe that was a shot that made him wobble a little bit there. Both looking tired. Higgins is breathing heavily, head over the shoulder there.
Yeah, you wouldn't think we're in round 3, would you? You think we're in round 7 or 8.
Right hand there, right on the temple. Higgins took it quite well though. Both looking tired when they tie up, both looking to get a breather. Back of the head there. I think the referee will have a word. Yeah, I thought he would do the back of the head.
I mean, both guys, Kevin, look like they've got excellent physiques. I mean, it's a tendency to just burn a lot of nervous energy in that. You know,
sometimes it can be. It's a bit of a fallacy as well. Sometimes some people are genetically looking ripped, and you can't always take that as someone in shape. Someone, for instance, like Tony Bellew, doesn't naturally look ripped, but we know he's a very fit guy. So it's not always a good telling just because they look in shape. I always tell my fighters, it's not a bodybuilding competition. We're not there to look good. We're there to hurt the other guy. So it can be sometimes misleading, and you can't always tell how fit someone is. The only person that knows how fit the boxer is the boxer themselves.
It's been a better second half to round 3 for Alan Higgins after a fairly worrying start.
Yes, Sneedze seems to have backed off after the second half of this round. Obviously, at the start of the round, he seemed to have some success, but I think he's feeling the pace. He's really stepped off the second half of the fight. A little bit of a stumble there.
Yeah, jab just put him off balance. A better finish to the round for Higgins, but had he scored on a round, do you think Sneedze might have edged him?
Yeah, maybe shared the round. It's very difficult. The first half of the round was the Latvian, the second half of the round was Higgins. I think maybe Higgins towards the end there just did enough to maybe edge the round. Again, a very, very difficult round to score. It'll be interesting to see how the second half of this fight goes. We've seen Higgins coming on strong in the seconds. We've seen Sneedze come on strong at the beginning of the third. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out.
We're halfway through the 6th round, and I'd say it's beautifully poised at the moment. We're not quite sure which way he's going to go.
It's a good fight. It's a good fight for Higgins to see. He's been asked a few questions, and it's his 6th pro fight. He's got some good support here, so it's interesting to see what he'll take from this. Slow off the stall, the Latvian now.
Round 4 of a fairly topsy-turvy fight so far. Both fighters taking it in turns to hurt the other.
Higgins started the round with a couple of jabs there and established the jab nice and early in this round.
Yeah, it's in round 2. The jab was working perfectly for Higgins. It seems to have lost his way in round 3, surprisingly.
Especially 2s and 3s. As you said before, I'd like to see him throw 2 and 3 shots. It's the 2nd and 3rd shots that he's catching him with. Maybe that first jab's fallen a little bit short. There, the 1-2 there getting through, and I think that's the key to unlocking this Latvian is throwing punches in bunches, to use a cliche, and I think it would certainly work for Higgins here.
Less so far from Sneedze, just wanting to hold 1 or 2 distress signals. He's getting ticking off from Bob Williams for holding inside.
He's looking around, he's looking very tired. I'm not sure how much more he's got left, and hopefully Higgins can see this and go on and keep pressing with good aggressive controlled boxing that he seems to be doing in this round. Much better this round than he was in the start of the last round. Nice flurry of punches there, very in between body and head. Very nice from Higgins. He's sunk down, Sneedze there, he's going hurt in the corner.
Sustained pressure now from
He's
Higgins.
all over the place.
Could be on the verge of a stoppage now.
The referee's very close having a look. Higgins has got to be careful not to blow himself out here.
Sneedze just bundled over there, but he's not throwing back. He might do well to get through this round.
It doesn't look like he's got much left, but I think if Higgins just comes forward, applies pressure, be careful not to blow himself out. I think he could get on the stoppage here. There's still a way to go in this fight.
Midway through round 4, now Higgins on the verge of a stoppage victory here.
Rocking there with the right hand from Higgins.
Sneedze has just done enough just to tie him up, and that final finishing shot, just can't quite find it.
I think he's getting a little bit close. He's smothering his own work. If he could take half a step back, nice little left hook there from Sneedze. I'd like to see him take half a step back, just give himself a little bit of range to throw the shots. It's a nice left hook there. He's a tall fighter, so he needs distance to be able to generate the power.
Sneedze looking quiet and steady on his legs.
I don't think he wants much more of this. throwing hard, did throw a right hand there, but that seems to be the odd single shot the Latvian's throwing back just out of hope. Nice right uppercut, cracking right hand there.
Somehow Sneedze is still on his feet.
Wobbled him there, did really rock him. He's looking over at his corner there, the Latvian.
Showing some distress signals, Sneedze.
His hands are down, his mouth's been open, he's been breathing heavy for a time. Higgins looking for the same right uppercut again there. He's got to be patient, Higgins here. He knows he's got him hurt, so I did see it was good there at the Higgins. I know some people want him to go for the kill, but at the same time, you have to be very careful when you've got an opponent hurt, not to run onto a shot and that sort of stuff. So,
Kevin, as a trainer, lots of trainers have the dilemma of when to pull their fight around. Sneedze is looking quite distressing now. If it was you, would you consider pulling him out, or would you let him go again?
it really depends on the fighter. Some people, you as a trainer know your fighter, and his corner will know what type of man he is and whether he should be pulled. It doesn't look like they're going to pull him. It really depends on what other fights has come on. If he's taking a journeyman stance, a lot of journeymen don't want to be stopped no matter how much punishment they're taking. But it really depends on the fighter. You'll know your fighter, but I think he's going to send him out for another round. And I think if Higgins comes out and is aggressive, and I think he sticks to his nice high guard, doubles them shots up, I think he'll take it out of the corner's hands, Ben.
Round 5 was scheduled 6, and then round 4, Alan Higgins seemed on the verge of recalling his 6th win. But as we know, from round 3, Sneedze can be dangerous.
Yeah, well, Higgins, when he came off the winning the round before, I think it was round 2, it was the start of the third round, he didn't do too well. So I'd be interested to see whether Higgins just worked his way into this one, which I think he has. He looks more settled at the beginning of this round. I think he knows, I think the corner had told him that he's hurt the other guy and it's his for the taking, so to speak. The Latvian, I think now is just going to look to tie up and mess and get as much as a breather as he can, Ben.
Quite a round so far, but probably both fighters will be grateful for that. It's been a fairly frenetic opening in the first 4 rounds.
And there's talk before this fight on the Steve Goodwin presentation about the brawl in the hall they did. They're talking about a possible opponent, Higgins, for Lee Markham in the future, and that'll be an interesting matchup if that ever happens.
Absolutely, yeah. Lee Markham up later on today in the 10 rounder. But in flashes, Higgins has been quite impressive. He's utilised the jab well, he's found the range with the right hand.
You can see why he's won his fights. He's certainly shown some good. I mean, he did fight as an amateur, did some good things in the amateur. I think he lost to Eubank Jr. in the amateurs as well. So he's fought some good people. He's well experienced. As we said, he's sparred the guy in the past. I think he sparred Patrick Nielsen for this fight, I believe. So he's seen and fought some good people that, let's be honest, should be above the class of Sneedze. But we haven't fully seen it today, but sometimes it takes hard to unlock certain styles.
Higgins just missed him with the right hand. The pace is noticeably drops in round 5. I'm just wondering if mentally both fighters may have accepted that this will go the full route now.
Yeah, maybe his corner has told Higgins that he's got this fight in the bag. I think he's ahead on points now. I think it's whether they've told him to just take his time and not do anything silly, anything crazy. He's ahead on the scorecard, so I think it's a case of just making sure he wins the points at the moment. Too many fighters try and go for the knockout when they don't need to and get caught. So it's intelligence, he's getting the rounds under his belt. I think Higgins could get the stoppage if he goes for it, but as you say, Ben, I think he might be preserving his energy.
Latvian's looking extremely tired now, but he's not been caught with the same regularity he was in the previous rounds, so his corner will be quite happy with that.
Again, I think it's down to the single shot, and again, it's single shots from both fighters, just the single jabs or the lead right hand, and I think that's why there hasn't been a lot of action this round, and why they've allowed the pace to drop. Nice right hand over the top there, lovely single shot. All over the place, the Latvian, all over, hanging on for dear life there, Ben.
For dear life, absolutely.
And he did well there, Higgins. He backed him up to the ropes, so Sneedze had nowhere to move, and then threw the right hand straight down the middle and caught him straight on the chin.
Fortunate there for Sneedze, and that came at the end of the round. Had it been halfway through, he may have been in danger there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too late in the round. You'd like to, as you said, seen it midway through to see how the round would have panned out. I can't see in the 6th round the Latvian coming out and throwing it all out. I think the Latvian's looking to survive now. I think Sneedze looking to survive. It'll be interesting to see how Higgins comes into this, whether he's going to go for the stoppage or whether he's just going to look to try and win on points.
Yeah, perhaps significantly, although Sneedze has lost 17 of his 27, he's actually only been stopped twice.
He has only been stopped twice, so he seems to be quite a hard man to stop. It's interesting to see what level of opponent he's fought. Looking through his record, there's not too many, because he's fought all over the world, there's not too many names that I recognise, but I think Higgins could stop him quite easily if he was to put some combinations together. However, Sneedze does survive, as you see, hanging on for dear life, and he was caught with that straight right hand at the end there, so he does know how to get through the rounds when he needs to.
Final round then of this super middleweight clash between Higgins and Raymond Sneedze, and can Higgins find a stoppage to crown what's been a pretty impressive performance for him by and large?
Yeah, so I think he lost the third round in the middle there, a little bit of a wobble. It's a 6-rounder fight, so you know you can't win them all the time, so it's interesting to see how he grows into it. He's definitely grown into this fight. The first round, I know we spoke about, it was a very, very tight round, so it's interesting to see how he's grown into it now. But Higgins looks tired in this round as well.
Obviously Higgins wants to be kept busy, Kevin. I mean, would you keep him at 6-round level for now, or do you look to move towards an 8-rounder?
I don't think he'd be ready for an 8-rounder just yet. As we can see here, he's ahead on the scorecards in the 6th round, and it's not as if he's looking like he's got, you know, an extra 2 rounds left in the bank. So I think he's, you know, in the 6-rounder, you know, to grow and just to get a few under his belt first. I don't think he's quite ready to make up to the step up to 8 rounds just yet. But it depends on, there's so many factors in it, how much preparation he had for this fight, how his training camp's gone, everything else like that. And the only person who will know whether he's ready to step up is his manager and promoter in his corner. So it's a meeting they'll have to have together, but I can see him staying at the 6 rounds on this performance alone, just staying at the 6-rounders for now.
Decent jabs from Higgins, he's looking to target the body of the him, but again he's not putting those shots together as we'd like.
So he's looking for that right hand again that he caught him in the last round, but it fell a little bit short that time. Again, just keep saying the same thing, but I'd like to see him just double his shots, just a double jab the right hand over the top, and I think he catches him. I think that's the key to that. Just keeping his distance a little bit when they get in close. Sneedze likes to tie him up and get a little bit of a rest. So,
barring something dramatic now, I think we're going to hear the final bell. Higgins have won this quite comfortably in the end.
I think so in the end, yeah. A little wobble there as well from
commentator's cursor. Spoke too soon.
Yeah, I think Higgins has come through. I think he's looked quite comfortable. Apart from the odd question asked, he's come through quite comfortably, and I think they'll be relatively pleased. There's things to work on, but again, this is only his 6th out in, so you know he's still very learning. He's still very green. Nice jab there. As you say, I think he's going to go through to the points at the end there. Attack from a little bit too far out there, Higgins.
Both fights are straight side. Now they'll be glad to hear the final bell.
And that's it.
Good fight.
Both fighters embrace at the end there, so I think they both know they've been in a fight.
Good work out for both fighters.
From this performance, how far do you see Higgins going? And if the Higgins and Markham fight was to ever go ahead, how do you see it going?
I'd be inclined to agree with you, Kevin. I think Higgins needs to continue his education at 6-round level. You know, with Lee Markham progressing now to 8 and 10 rounds, you can see the improvement of Lee Markham fight by fight. I think we'll be in a better place to judge Higgins maybe next year, February, March time. He needs at least 2 or 3 more fights, I'd say.
And I agree. I think he's not quite ready for someone like Lee Markham at the moment. But as you say, they're at different levels at the moment, with Lee fighting at 8 and 10 and Higgins fighting in the 60s. But definitely both talented boys, and one to look forward to for the future for sure.
Supporters will probably all
questions, but certainly won it on my